And we're off. Hey, 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 hey.
Okay, I knew I gotta stop you. Oh my god. Hi!
I could have kept going.
I was wondering if you were going to.
Mm-hmm.
Thought you
I know.
might.
I'm a good actor. I know. I keep going. I keep acting until the whistle blows.
Yeah. You
That's
wait
because
until you
that's
hear
how
cut.
directors
Yeah.
direct, right? With whistles.
Whistles, yep.
That's how I should direct.
I prefer to use a foghorn.
That'd be good.
Or the buzzer. Ooh, a buzzer in like a
Ooh.
stadium.
Or the like a
Yeah. Oh, clown nose. I just honk a clown nose.
That'd
Alright.
be good. Hi everybody.
Hey, peoples.
How's it going out there? That's good.
Yeah, thanks for
We're
sharing.
bad.
What? Oh,
Well,
yeah, you're
someone
reacting.
Might be having a bad time.
Well, I hope. Well, no, if anyone's listening to this, they're having a good time. Because
Exactly.
you can only have a good time when
Hey.
you're listening to.
We could talk about that. That was good.
This is our podcast.
That was
with
really good.
Ethan and Abby.
Hello.
Because guess what?
We could talk about that.
Woo! Look, we're on fire.
Wow. And we weren't even sure if we wanted to do it today. But we're gonna.
And we're probably, for any listeners who are really liking our Thursday schedule, that is maybe no longer going to work for us, so we're going to try to shoot for Fridays.
Our super consistent Thursday schedule.
Yeah. We've done so many now. What number are we on? Is this our 7?
Let me count. I don't think it's quite that high.
It might be. Because, I mean, we've been, our first, I don't even remember our first one.
Is
6? 5. Can't be 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is number 8. Wow.
Whoa.
Holy moly.
Number 8.
Certainly the longest running podcast on the Ethan Levine channel.
Well, that's what you get for having one person that's very easy to talk to.
Exactly. Yeah.
We talk all the time. Ethan and I have been very chatty these past couple days about lots of stuff.
Yeah.
Really getting into... I mean, I guess we just kind of built off of our existentialism on our last pod. We just kind of been talking about that the past couple of days.
Yeah.
So, we kind of want to break this episode. Everyone, our much requested
for a second.
from nobody,
Yeah.
our highly anticipated from no one, poop pod.
We're doing poop? I thought we were doing ghosts.
Oh, fuck, you're right. We are doing ghosts. Okay, well, everybody, come back for next week when we talk about poop.
We'll keep teasing it. Keep teasing it.
Yeah, we're gonna tease it until
really
one person requests it.
Exactly,
That's our goal.
We need the poop. Someone's gonna be like, we need the poop. We need the poop
pod,
cast.
please. Yeah.
The poo cat. The poop cat. Poop.
We've just been calling it the poop cast.
Ghosts.
Yeah, this
Boom.
one, oh, so scary. And definitely in season, as it's spring.
Absolutely, dude.
That's when ghosts are
Name
out.
a scarier month than April.
Then you
Taxes. Are you kidding me, bro?
Terrifying.
Thunder.
Yeah.
Fucking 3 kids died around us. I read up on that story.
Oh, you did?
It's a real story.
Okay.
And it was from the storms the other night, which knocked down a tree right next to our house.
I feel like, is this insensitive to be talking about this after we were talking about ghosts and
No, it's whatever.
poop a second ago?
Yeah. It's
I
just
am
the
curious,
way the world is, man.
I am curious to hear about that
Just
story.
I'm gonna try. I'll treat it as respectfully as possible. We're gonna relay the information from the article that I read. It was 3 kids from like a 6-person family, and like they were all in a car together, and they got hit by a tree while like in the car. And the 3 survivors were like still in critical condition and stuff.
So all the 6 of the kids, 3 of them passed.
No, so it was a 6-person family. They didn't get into the details of like the members of the family, whether it was like extended or like.
I'm assuming it's an immediate family.
Sure.
But
yeah, still crazy. That tree's not gonna make that joke.
So, wait. Are they just in critical condition and they're might be okay?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so it's not like
the article was written like a day after it happened, and this was only a few days ago. So.
Okay. The The only way that I heard about this was a lady came into my work and we were just talking about the storm. And I was saying how, oh yeah, one of my neighbors, the tree fell down and crushed someone's car. And she said, oh yeah, over by me, 3 kids got hit by a tree and I think she said died.
Yeah, she's right.
Which is crazy.
That's terrible.
But let's hope that those kids are at peace and at rest and come back as friendly ghosts.
Yeah.
Maybe. I'm trying to tie it back. Ethan, I don't know how the fuck to talk about that. That's like crazy that this is how we started.
You just have to be honest. That's the only way you can talk about anything.
Well, yeah, but especially it's harder to talk about something that important that affects the lives of so many people when we don't know anything about it, and I literally was just saying we were going to talk about poop. You know, like, it feels like we're switching it up a lot. We're talking about ghosts.
We're talking about ghosts.
Everybody, we are talking about ghosts.
Who's your favorite ghost?
Of all time?
Yeah. Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, he's a good one. He is a good one.
Casper.
The only one I was thinking of was Casper, but I don't know a lot of ghosts.
Think of what their ghosts.
Is the
famous?
I'm trying to think of...
Oh, the ghosts. There's a few famous ghosts from Harry Potter.
Oh, Nearly Headless Nick?
Yeah.
Like, that guy.
Yeah. Aren't there
what
others?
about from, the fucking, the green snot guy from Ghostbusters?
Slimer?
Is he a ghost? What else would he classify him?
I think he's technically a ghost.
He's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a menace.
He's a bit of a menace.
He's a gross goober.
Yeah.
But...
I guess, do the Ghostbusters, they don't have jurisdiction on, like, spirits? You know, like, they only can do ghosts? And it's like, oh shit, that's a djinn right there. I don't deal with djinns.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. But I guess they only really tackle just the fact that they hunt ghosts. I guess they don't really explain anything else in the universe.
Right. In the reboot, most recent reboot, not the female reboot, like Hell Frozen, the freezing or whatever.
Yeah, the newest one.
That was a demon or whatever.
I already forgot.
Yeah.
That movie sucked.
Kind of stank.
Big stinker. Do you have a favorite ghost? Any ghost you're thinking of in particular?
Not really. It was kind of just a question that first came to my mind.
Yeah.
I feel like Patrick Swayze is a pretty good... Oh,
that's
the
a good
kid
one to say.
from Sixth Sense.
I don't.
You never seen Sixth Sense?
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, you know, like, I See Dead People, that whole thing. Well, I guess Bruce Willis is also a ghost in that, but spoiler alert, I guess.
Uh-oh.
I mean, No,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Really?
I really don't.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, alright.
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 Do you have any ghost stories?
I mean, we've talked about this a couple times. The only, like, experience that I've felt semi-paranormal in my life, and I mean, like, if we had to define you and I as, like, the typical duality of ghost hunters, you know, like, I'm certainly more of the skeptic. I'm certainly way more open to the idea of ghosts. But, like, I'm sure we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So when I was, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old, it was when me and my brother shared a room, and our closet door was open, and I was just waking up in the morning, and from my bed I was able to look into our closet, and it looked like there was a face made out of, like, shirts hanging up in our closet, and, like, the face was, like, looking right at me, and I was looking right in the face, and I couldn't move, and I couldn't, like, scream out for, like, my brother or anything, and it felt like I was there for, like, an eternity. And then I get a bit older, and I'm like, oh, I probably was just experiencing, like, sleep paralysis as, like, a 4 or 5 year old. And, like, that's the only way my young febile brain could,
Febile?
What? Is that not a word? Young?
Feeble. You mean feeble?
Feeble, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just pronouncing it.
Febile.
I'm like a smart person.
I was thinking, like, what is febile?
Febile.
I was like a type of bile you had in you or something. Yeah. Like, huh.
That's when you're transitioning, like you're AFAB, and you're like transitioning to a man, and you're throwing up your femininity, your febile.
Yeah. That's good. I like that.
But yeah, that's really the most experience I've had with ghosts per se.
Yeah.
I think the most haunting I've ever had is just like being in a somewhat scary of an environment and just like thinking like, oh, I wonder if there's paranormal activity, and that just scares me more than anything that's actually happening.
Yeah. Because it's like, oh, you don't even know where to look. Ghosts can go through walls. I guess I'm just, open to the elements.
Right.
Yeah, I get that.
What about your ghost stories? Because I know you got a few.
I definitely have a few. For me personally, I only have one. But like I guess all of my stories really, are from my grandparents' house, which is up in the UP, Kapahaba.
That's how they talk up here in the UP. Kapahaba. Give me a pasky.
What is it? Patchkey?
Yeah, I wanted to call it a potchkey.
You're doing punchki.
Yeah, the dessert.
Yeah, two very different things. Yeah. One of them is a sweet treat, and one of them is basically meat
pie.
Yeah. But my grandparents' house is definitely haunted. My grandparents don't like talking about it because they live there, and
they're the reason it's haunted. You think about that ever?
Well, my grandma openly invites them, but also doesn't want to talk to them or do anything.
She's just collecting them.
Well, she just says, like, if ghostly spirits... Oh, God, I'm going to sneeze.
Bless you. Bless you. Only
one? Talk about a ghost.
Only one?
I think so.
Maybe that was two.
I've been having weird sneezes
Abby
lately.
Sneezes like 4 to 6 times on average. She sneezes way more than any other person I've ever met. I feel like the average is 2.
Yeah, I feel like I sneezed 3 times.
Are you kidding me?
I feel like...
You joking?
3 is my general but then it's like I sneeze 3 times, I blow my nose, and then I'll like sneeze 2 more times. Or then maybe I'll hit you with a 4 sneezer, and then I just really go for it.
Mm-hmm.
That was a ghost expelling my body. Exactly. Thank you.
Yep.
Bless.
Talking about ghosts.
But, so my grandparents' house definitely is haunted. Yeah, my grandma doesn't want to do anything with them. It's just, if this is the house where they choose to reside, there's nothing I can do about it, so I just hope they're peaceful. Mm-hmm. That's her whole thing about it. It's just, as long as they mind their business, I'll mind mine. And they're welcome. Making her sound southern. Not at all how she sounds. But my one ghost story is in that house, and it's not anything, like, crazy. I constantly have dreams about that house, and I just think it's about all my anxiety around this fucking house and its ghosts. But, my little cousin was just a baby at the time, and my aunt needed to go take a shower. And as she left, and then little baby Levi's downstairs, he was really sad because he just wanted to be with his mom. So he was screaming and crying the whole time that my aunt was showering. Which, that's how some babies are. They're clingy, and that's just kind of what it is.
Explains a lot about your little cousin.
Oh, yeah. But I then was just going upstairs. I don't know, I had to grab something from my bag or something. I don't know what I was doing, but I was going upstairs, so I was very physically distant from Levi. But all of a sudden, I heard, like, a little baby giggling. So I thought, oh, like, thank God. Like, my mom and my sister finally got him to shut up. Like, yeah, he was just kind of giggling, and everything was, like, that was... Oh, Gizmo just spilled her food. I don't know why she did that. But I then walked back down the stairs, and oh no, he started crying again. So I go back down and I say, oh, like, yeah, what did you do? What made Levi laugh? He seemed totally cool. Like, what happened? Why is he crying again? he's been crying this whole time. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, I heard, like, some babies laugh. It sounded kind of weird. Like, it was almost echoey, but, like, I don't know. I just thought that maybe it was, like, reverberating around the house weird.
Baby ghost.
Baby ghost. Baby ghost laughing it up in my grandparents' house. So that's my only, like... Well, and, like, doors opening and closing when they shouldn't be, lights turning on and off. But I guess I've just kind of blocked those out. Like, that's like, oh, well, maybe there's a draft, or maybe it's, you know. But that's my one thing that's happened to me that, like, I really cannot prove. And it was very distinct. It's like, oh, well, maybe I just misheard, and it was really crying. No, it was definitely, like, there's a distinct baby cry sobbing versus baby giggling sound.
Right.
So very strange, very weird, but for a moment, I had my moment's peace, so maybe the house was looking out for me and said, yeah, you don't need to hear baby scream crying anymore.
You think the house has, like, a spirit, per se, not necessarily a bunch of just ghosts?
I don't know. From all the other stories that I've got about this house, though, it's, definitely a lot of individual spirits.
Okay. Do you know
if anyone's watched American Horror Story, the house season, I think it's their first one, it's very that coded. Lots of individual personalities.
Do any of them have names that you know of?
Yes, but I don't I want to say it's like Lynn or something. But that's the big story.
Okay.
Well, so then the one other little off thing. My grandma has actually interacted a decent amount with the ghosts that are just around. I think she's just... I don't know. I think because she's so open with them, that it's just kind of... things present themselves in very interesting ways to her.
Sure.
So one time when she was walking from... like, the layout of the house... in order to get to the kitchen, you have to walk through the dining room.
Yeah.
And so as she was walking through the dining room, there's like a vanity thing, some big mirror over a thing with drawers. Anyways, doesn't matter. In the mirror, though, she saw just feet hanging.
Oh,
like
yikes.
A man's, like, he was wearing, like, a sharp pair of pants and little dress shoes.
Interesting.
And they were just... And it wasn't like he was, like, hanging from the chandelier or anything. The ceilings are not very tall at all. But there were just kind of feet hovering in the mirror. Which is very odd and very strange.
Like Jojo Rabbit.
Oh, no. You're going to make me cry about that again. If anyone hasn't seen Jojo Rabbit, really watch Jojo Rabbit.
Dude, it's crazy.
And pay attention to the feet.
It's hard not to.
Well, yeah, but anyways, so that was just, like, kind of jarring, but so we've had laughing babies, so there's some child presence, maybe, there is some man presence hanging in the living room, something, I don't know.
Yeah.
But then, the one big story from this house that I've got is my aunt's ghost story, that, her little baby Levi was the one that was crying and boo-hooing. Mm-hmm. So maybe they've got some ghosts attached to them or something. I don't know. Could also be. But this was when she and my mom were kids, and they were, like, getting ready for school one morning, and my grandma would not wake up before they left, and Grandpa would be the one to take them, or, like, the girls would just get ready and then go to school.
Sure.
And make coffee for my grandma. So my grandma was, like, usually indisposed in the morning. She wasn't the one, like, up and doing stuff. So my aunt's going into the kitchen to try to make herself some breakfast or something. She's in the kitchen, she gets her stuff, and she turns, and she sees someone standing in the doorway of the kitchen to then get into the dining room area. Mm-hmm. And it's this full-body apparition of a woman who has no hair and is wearing a green sweater.
Oh, wow.
And she's just kind of there. Like my aunt was saying, it's not like she was really doing anything, but, like, she really was just trying to get out of there, because all of a sudden she's, like, alone in the kitchen, and now there's, like, this strange, semi-transparent woman standing over her. Like, that's terrifying.
Yeah, that's super scary.
But, like I said, the layout of this house, in order to get into the kitchen, the only other exit of the kitchen is out the side door, like out to the whole front of the house.
Yeah.
She doesn't go out that. She's like, I need to go back up and, like, tell my sister, tell my mom, I don't know. Mm-hmm. She has to walk through the ghost.
Oh my god.
And she does. So she walked through a ghost to get upstairs.
Did she describe what it felt like?
Just cold.
Okay.
It was like a small. Her biggest priority was just trying to get the fuck out of there. Sure. So how much of that does she really focus on? Yeah. But whenever she even tells the story to this day, it's like the hair stands up on her, the back of her neck, and it's just all like, ooh, yikes, scary. I've only heard this story maybe 2 or 3 times because she does not like telling it, and it's only ever when we really get into, hey, do you believe in the afterlife? And then we start talking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
So she had to run through the ghost to get to my mom and say, oh my god, I just saw the fucking ghost downstairs. And my mom thought it was a joke. She's like, okay, no you didn't. They go back down. There's nothing there.
Yeah.
And they're all freaked out and stressed about this, to the point that as they're talking about it, they're realizing they're late for school. So then they have to wake up my grandma and say, okay, now we're late for school because Bree got so freaked out about this ghost. That my grandma has to write a note to the teachers and say, sorry, my daughters are late for school. They saw a ghost this morning.
Do they accept it?
I think so. I don't know.
That's funny.
Because even just, like, any kind of parental excuse, like, signed off from a parent is, like you know.
Sure.
There's a reason. Yeah. And at least the parents know. And I think that's the bigger thing. But my grandma, as she heard about, like, my aunt saying what this woman looked like, she thought, okay, well, let's see if there's any truth to this. Let's look up maybe who lived here previously, and see if there's any kind of overlap or background. The woman who had owned the house previously, to my grandparents moving in, and they, obviously, since my mom and my aunt were little girls there, they've been at that house for a very long time. But they looked it up and saw who had lived there before, and the woman who had lived there previously had sadly passed away because she had cancer. But with all of her cancer treatments, her hair did fall out. She would occasionally wear wigs, but the majority of the time she had no hair.
Yeah.
And her favorite color was green.
Oh,
yeah.
Shit.
Oh,
shit.
And this is not something my aunt would know, because she did not, it's not like, of course I know the woman who lived here before. She had no clue. She would not have been able to say anything about the previous owner until because my grandma was also, she's got her realtor's license and would sell houses. That was her thing. That was her career. So she was able to get a little more information.
Right.
But yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's super fucking crazy. If I could make a guess at what the story is in that house, I feel like it's somewhat like a couple move in, they have a baby, the baby dies. That's real sad. That's why there's a ghost baby. And then
baby happy.
The wife gets cancer, and then the wife dies, and then
she was an old woman.
Oh.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I can say then the husband kills himself because he was all alone. But whatever. Alright, fine.
Yeah, I don't know.
Interesting, though.
Certainly an interesting... And, like, when you... This is, like, walking into that house certainly feels like something.
Yeah.
And
it must be a pretty old house.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty old.
In the UP.
Mm-hmm. And it's also on...
Is it big?
Let's see. Big-ish. I'm trying to count the bedrooms. 1, 2, 3. And it's got, like, a maid's quarters up in the attic. So...
Okay, wow. But, I mean, that's big if it's, like, an old house and in the UP, which is, like, even to this day, not super developed.
Yeah, I mean, I could show you pictures. It sounds a lot bigger than you would think.
Sure.
So, like, the maid's quarters, there's an attic, and there's, like, kind of an open area. There's, the bedroom off on the side, which can fit a twin bed and, like, maybe a small dresser and a nightstand. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's much
creepy as fuck.
else up there. It's yeah. My so when we've gone up,
What do they use it for? Just like storage now?
Yeah, mostly. And like when we've stayed over, my sister, she slept in that room one time because she wanted like her own space kind of.
Yeah, what was that like?
Well, so they don't have any AC, so it's just really hot up in the attic.
Super fucking cold.
Yeah. But yeah, well, they have like little space heaters and stuff. So especially in a room like that, it can get really warm.
Sure.
I don't remember when my sister stayed in there, but my grandma also has a cardboard cutout of our someone who's related to us who died in Pearl Harbor. My great grandma's brother. George. Well, I don't know how much I should really put out there. I'm just gonna say his name is George.
Okay.
His name is George. He died in Pearl Harbor. And we had a cardboard cutout of him for the funeral that we went to because they actually found some of his bones. He was one of the few that they actually were able to find some fragments of him. And the only way they were able to identify him was based off of DNA they found on a letter that he had sealed with his spit, or my great grandma had sealed. Like, it was crazy the way that all happened. But yeah, so Katie slept in there with the cardboard cutout, and
my gosh.
It's like if I were to wake up in the middle of the night and see that thing in that house, I would be freaked the fuck out.
Right.
And the last time that I went up, Katie didn't come with for some reason. I don't know if I just had the time off and Katie didn't. But I went up with Mom and Dad, and so Mom and Dad slept in one bedroom, and I tried sleeping in the other. The thing with a house as old as theirs also, there's not a bunch of outlets. And my phone, I like stayed up as late as I could trying to distract myself on my phone, but then my phone died, and the outlet was all the way across the room, not even close to the bed, and I didn't have a long enough cord to keep doing stuff. And I kept hearing weird noises, and like, I was so uncomfortable. I was making myself crazy. Couldn't sleep for the life of me. But I also didn't want to like leave the bedroom or wake anyone up and say, "Hey, I can't sleep." I was in college. Like, that's you cannot do that at that age.
Right.
And I really tried to calm myself down. Couldn't do it. And I think I maybe managed to get like 2 hours of sleep or something.
Jeez.
And so my grandparents know their house is haunted, but they also don't want to talk about it. So then when Mom and Dad were asking me the next morning, like, "Hey, yeah, how do you sleep?" in front of Grandma and Grandpa, I couldn't say horribly I was scared of ghosts the whole night. So I was like, not the best. I just was really struggling to fall asleep. But then I pulled Mom and Dad off to the side and I said, we need to rearrange something else because I could not fall asleep. I was driving myself crazy. So then the next night, Dad slept in that room, and then I shared the bed with Mom, and I watched Ponyo to fall asleep. Oh. And that helped. Ponyo, that definitely helped. Fishy in the sea. But yeah, there's a lot of history in that house that I'm very curious about.
Yeah, dude. So my big point I was saying, like, if that's a big house, especially like up there, is like that was someone of prominence house, especially if there's like a maid's quarters, Not
necessarily. So where they're at, like, that was almost the capital of Michigan because of all the copper.
Yeah.
And then it definitely wore out and there wasn't enough, and I don't know all the history of it. I'm sure my grandma could really talk about it.
It's interesting.
But So, and, like, all of her neighbors and stuff, all the other houses around there, like, they are pretty much the same size house. It's not like there's, like, one standalone house that's, like, really big.
Yeah.
It's just kind of all the houses are like that and, like, kind of run down at this point.
Yeah.
There's is
the UP is a
nicer.
fascinating area.
It really is, yeah. But I was gonna say there was a tragedy that happened nearby. But I don't want to say which specific one because then that really pinpoints this house, and
sure,
I don't want to.
That's fine.
I want to dox my grandparents.
Yeah, understandable.
But there was something that had happened in a large public building that a lot of people got stampeded. So I want to say like
damn,
anywhere from 30 to 50 people died in this.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Stampedes are dangerous, man.
Yeah. And it like the doors, everyone tried to get out of the building, but so the doors they didn't swing out. They had to pull them in, but because everyone was panicking, they would just kept pushing themselves up to the door so they couldn't pull.
Yeah.
And yeah, a lot of people had passed.
Yikes.
Just super sad. But it's like the block over. So I don't know if it's maybe just that area that there's kind of a lot of stuff going on. But also...
I bet that building's fucking haunted to shit.
There's not a building anymore.
Oh. Because the ghost destroyed it.
There's a little memorial area, but it's kind of just a little park now.
Okay.
But if you were a ghost, wouldn't you want to, like, not stay in the place where you had died? Why do people have that perception?
Because you're, like, linked there or whatever. I don't think it's that you want to be there. It's that you have to be there. That's why most ghosts are kind of assholes, right?
Well, it's like the Batman thing. You'd live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
No, that's Breaking Bad.
Is that what that is?
I think so.
I have no fucking clue. And it's not like they're living, obviously, but like with other like Supernatural, that show, the way they explain ghosts is like, oh well, they exist for so long and can't affect any change in their environment, so they kind of work. Even in Ghost, the movie with Patrick Swayze, like you gotta get so angry, you gotta like have so much feeling that almost is what makes you real.
Yeah.
To affect the world around you.
And that's always my biggest qualm with ghosts is the like, if the ghost is like the spiritual remains of a human, because like, well, okay, we'll say that like humans have two aspects, the physical and then the spiritual, and the spirit is what's hanging around afterwards. Like, why can like the non-material part of you interact with material aspects,
Yeah.
And so that's always my biggest thing with ghosts, but at the same time, it just kind of feels right. Yeah. And what we were talking with existentialism, you kind of just gotta go with your feelings.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. And, like, I don't know if it's like, oh, they can exert... Or it's not like they're actually interacting with the object, but it's almost like a buildup of force.
Ooh, I have an interesting idea. I, like...
Do you
there's
like my thought at all?
I do, and I kind of can like maybe build off it. Is like maybe everything, including like things like lamps or books or chairs or whatever, have spirits to them. They're just maybe not as like typical of a spirit, So like when a spirit needs to interact with something, it almost needs to exert spirit energy to be able to interact with a rather weak spirit, like a lamp spirit.
Sure. I like the idea of a lamp spirit.
What would make humans different than other pieces of matter just grouped together with their spirits? Because, we could link other...
But we don't see spirits of, like, anything really other than people. And they talk about seeing ghosts.
Right.
Do you see ghost dogs, ghost animals?
I feel like people have reported
People say ghost dogs.
Yeah.
Ghost cats.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe not, like, any object that hasn't lived.
Right.
Like a lamp.
Well, that's why, like, it's, like, a rather, like, weak spirit, almost,
Sure.
Because there's, like, I talked about it a little bit during the existential podcast, but Plato, Socrates' student, he had this idea of ideas, and that there's this realm of ideas where everything has its perfect idea of itself, and, like, the famous one is, like, chairs. Like, what is the idea of a chair? Like, how do you define what a chair is? Like, could you say it's like
something you sit on, but you can sit on
right.
anything?
You can sit on anything. So you're like, oh, it has 4 legs on it. But, like, we're sitting on a bed that has 4 legs on it. Is that a chair?
I think you just get into dimensions. But dimensions could change.
Right, but you and I can still, like, I can tell you, hey, can you bring me a chair? And
I know what you mean.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
So there is a metaphysical realm called, like, the realm of ideas.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You and I are able to access.
Yes.
So theoretically, maybe something has, like, a soul, almost like that, being attached to this platonic realm of ideas. And so as a spirit, you are tapping into that somehow. That's fun. I kind of like that.
I like that. I don't know that I agree with it, but I think that's fun.
It's a little goofy.
If you, like, say, a lamp or a book had an object or something, what ghost would be following you from your past of an object?
What, like, ghostly object?
Yeah, what ghostly object is following you?
Ooh. I really like the idea of when I was, like, maybe, like, 8 or 9 or something, me and my buddy Kevin were getting ready for a bonfire we were going to have that night. And so we were chopping up little pieces of wood with hatchets to make them small to fit in the bonfire. And at one point, I was holding the piece of wood kind of weird. And I went down with the hatchet and I smacked my middle finger with it, but, like, right on the nail. So I didn't actually cut my middle finger off. I just essentially smashed the tip of my finger.
Yeah.
And I'd like to think that hatchet's haunting me. The spirit of that hatchet.
Oh, that's very interesting. I've got 2 that I was thinking of.
I think I have an animal spirit that I kind of carry it with me, not necessarily haunt, but you go first.
Yeah, I'll say my items, and then you say about your animals. And I got some animals I could share. Yeah. But I would say my 2 objects. I remember when I was in, like, middle school or something, I got this ring at Claire's that I loved. It looked like talons, kind of, that would, like, clasp around your finger, like it was a ring like that.
Yeah.
Silver, chunky, really cute. Oh God, I would wear the shit out of that today.
Oh
even.
Boy.
It was a cool ring. I really liked it, and I lost it. I had it for a couple months. Like, I don't even think a full year.
Oh, no.
But I lost it, and I have no idea where I lost it. I remember looking in a bunch of lost and founds of places I had been, looking in my room. I thought, even maybe when I move for college, I'll find it.
Yeah.
Never found it.
Why do you think that's haunting you, though?
Oh, well, I just would like to hope that the spirit of that ring that I still think about, and
it's like
I
with
think,
you. It's stuck with you in a way. Okay.
Because, I just really like that ring, and I still think about it. And then I went back to Claire's, like, a couple months after to see if maybe they were still selling it. They weren't selling it anymore, so I couldn't even buy a replacement.
Like, that ring hasn't existed in
50 years. Yeah. Man, what a cool ring.
Ghost ring. That's pretty badass.
That is,
yeah. Especially with, like, talon claws.
God, yeah. Ooh, badass. My other thing, I think it's just objects that I lost too soon, and I do think about pretty regularly. So when Katie and I each got our own rooms, that was super exciting, because we shared rooms up until we were, like, I don't know, 11-ish, 12-ish, somewhere around there. So when I got my own room, I don't know if we had a little TV or Katie had something that she would watch movies on, but I didn't. So I wanted to get a little DVD
That's fucking
player.
Bullshit.
Well, dude, if it was hers, something she bought at, like, Goodwill that I didn't, but we just shared. It's hers. That's fine. I honestly don't remember. But I also liked watching stuff a lot more than Katie did, I think. Or more often maybe than she did. So
I'll put a tentative bullshit label on it, but
well. And so I got a DVD player. I saved up a lot of money. I spent $50 on this, which for me, a lot of money back in the day, as a kid, woo, that was some cash. And it was a beautiful DVD player. It was blue, and it had like a swivel top, so you could put the DVD thing in, but then like you could twist it and fold it down, so it was almost like a tablet that you were watching it. I thought that thing was badass.
Yo.
And I would sit in my beanbag chair and watch like the Princess Diaries on my little thing. But I used it like twice or something. I didn't have it for very long, but I left it on top of my bookshelf that I had in my room. Next to my, like, on the very top of my bookshelf, I also had like lotion and stuff, like little hand lotions and things.
Mm-hmm.
I have no clue what happened. I don't think it was a body wash. I do think it was like a hand lotion. Like the whole container of it broke and leaked and totally fried the shit out of my DVD player. I had that thing for a month, maybe.
Oh, man.
Maybe a month. I spent $50 on it. And I was so sad about it.
Yeah. That's devastating as a kid.
Because I didn't do anything to it. I put it where I thought it was perfectly safe. And it's not like it got crazy hot and everything just like fucking melted. Like, I have no idea. I don't know if maybe my sister went into my room and accidentally...
Sabotage.
Well, you know, maybe knocked it over and didn't realize how bad it was. Or, you know, like, things happen. I even had the flushed away DVD in the thing.
Oh, no. So you lost the DVD?
No, the DVD still works. But, like, half of the label of it's rubbed off because it got covered in, like, lotion.
Oh,
and, like, sat. Maybe it was, like, a body oil. I have no clue what this was. It's honestly impressive that the DVD still works.
Yeah.
But I immediately took it out and washed it. But then I was trying my hardest to get the DVD player to work, and it just wouldn't.
Yeah.
I thought maybe my parents might say, oh, well, you know, accidents happen. Maybe let's try to help you pay for a new one. Not, like, totally paid for it, but I thought they might.
Right.
And they didn't.
No.
Which, you know, that's fine. It wasn't my fault, though. But,
yeah,
so that's just kind of one of the things that just is sad. So that little... The ghost of that DVD player haunts me.
Right.
That's not something I hope follows me. That just haunts me.
You always think about that.
I think about it very often. I probably think about it like once a month minimum.
It's really sad.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Did you try opening it up to clean it at all? Or?
I mean, it was like so absorbed into the plastic of it that like it was starting to sog into the things, and then like even the swivel of the monitor was like not totally working.
Oh.
Like, I have no clue what happened. Like, something had to have happened to it because it was totally working and totally fine one day, and then the next day it just wasn't.
Jeez.
So yeah, then I never got another DVD player. I had to wait till I got a laptop when I got into college.
Jeez.
Yep. Years without a DVD player. How sad.
How sad.
I had to watch TVs on the regular
TV.
I watch shows on the regular TV like a normal schmuck. But, what about your animal ghosts?
Oh, when I was raised a hunter, and like I don't.
Sorry.
I don't think it
Hunting's
haunts
perfectly
me.
fine.
Well, yeah, and like, I mean, the way I was like raised to hunt, I don't know, it felt very respectful, and like looking back on it, you know, it was very respectful. Other than, you know, your pretty big advantage on deer.
Yeah.
But still, it was nice just to go out in the woods with my grandfather and sit for a while.
Yeah. I can see that was like a really fun, like, bonding time and way to socialize.
And, like, there is something very satisfying about just, like, sitting in a spot where you're like, hey, I think we'll see something right here. And then something, like, walks through, you know?
Yeah.
And then you just end it.
Kind of like fishing.
Yeah, and then you just...
End its life.
End its life.
God. I don't think we should be allowed to kill anything that could live older than we do.
Well,
but that's neither here nor there. That's another thing we can
There is also, like, there is reasons for hunting in Michigan. Like, deer, without hunters, deer would get out of control. And, like, there have been instances where the DNR doesn't give enough licenses out. Because you have to buy, like...
Right, they are an invasive species, aren't they? Kind of?
No. It's... Well, I think it has to do more with, like, the wolf population can't exist in the way, like, it used to due to, like, urbanization and stuff. So, therefore, there aren't predators to take down the deer population, so, like, humans kind of have to fill into that role, otherwise they'll eat fucking everything.
Sure. But your ghost?
Oh, yeah, sorry. So I when I was like 14 or 15 or whatever, I went up to my grandma's place because this was going to be like the first year that like you're allowed to like shoot a deer when you're like 14 or 15 or something. And then like it's like so crazy, like the level of indoctrination. I don't know if indoctrination is maybe the right word to use for it, but like there's a specific month or 2 months before deer season that is like minor season, where like if you're under 18, that's when you can go and hunt. Yeah, because they want to give like the kids an opportunity before the real hunters get out there, you know.
Right.
And then so yeah, like I went up to my grandma's property, and you know, like yeah, I shot a deer, and it was a pretty young doe. Like really not that old or like big at all, and like certainly the biggest regret of it is I didn't eat that much of it. You know,
but I'm assuming other people did.
Yeah, after like a while, like it really just sat in our freezer for a while.
Oh,
because like you take it to like a place that like grinds it up, turns it into like bacon or whatever you want, and then you just have a freezer full of venison. But like, and the reason I carry that spirit with me is because like kind of like almost right as I shot it, I was like, it doesn't feel right, you know. This is supposed to be like a moment of becoming like a man, you know.
Yeah, or feeling some kind of success, but
right.
all you did was take the life of something else.
Right, exactly.
Granted, for something to sustain your own life, and I get that there is value in that when that is necessary.
Right, but this was just wanting to have a status thing,
yeah,
you know. And it took me a while to kind of connect the dot of why, because I'd never hunted after that. That was the last time I hunted. Was when I killed a deer.
Yeah,
which is kind of crazy to think about, honestly.
That is crazy to think about.
And like, unless you consider fishing hunting, but
I think it's an aspect of it, but I don't know. I think if I were to ever like to go down the vegetarian route, I'd probably go pescatarian.
Right.
Just like only eat fish.
Sure.
I don't know. Fish are but I also like I don't like killing bugs. I like at work.
There's no such thing as ethical consumption. It's all right.
Well, yeah. Some people think even cucumbers are alive because they have like nerves in them that may or may not be able to feel pain. So there's some vegans out there that don't even eat cucumber. Isn't that interesting?
But so does that mean it's okay to then eat someone who can't feel pain?
That's an interesting question. That's a very interesting
This is why I was great in a philosophy class.
Yeah. I mean, I would still say no. Right, I don't want to ever eat a person.
Because you can say, oh, well, then they're, like, aware of it. Well, it's like, well, okay, but you're saying the cucumber can feel pain, but, like, is it aware of its pain?
Yeah. I don't know.
But I get my point being is, like, hey, where
do we draw the line?
Right.
As to what is ethical or not as far as eating something?
Yeah, and, like, hey, you know, and I think the line that's very easy to draw is, like, factory farmed meat, you know, like, that's never good.
Yeah.
And there's obviously like a lot of problems that come out of like I think maybe the biggest thing is like beef consumption.
I was gonna say how the way they
huge
handle cows,
climate change.
Yeah, Yeah, of course. Like, how much water it takes to get one cow is, like, enough to make however many fields of grain that could, like, solve, like, end world hunger.
Yep. And the amount of just nitrogen that they put
yeah.
out. Yeah.
But also the way they handle those cows. Have you seen cow farmers fucking slinging them around by their hooves and, like, tossing them?
Oh.
Like, sacks of potatoes. They're, like, it's not even...
They're throwing cows around?
Not full cows, but, like, calves. Baby cows. Okay. Taking them by the hooves and fucking swinging them.
Jeez, no, I haven't seen that. I mean, I've seen the I don't know, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, like just in rows eating, and that's essentially just how they spend their whole lives.
Yeah. Awful. Do you think we have ghosts following us of the beef we've consumed in our past?
Oh, that's interesting. A lot of ghosts.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring it back to ghosts.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think so either. I mean, as much of like that I've heard about ghost stories and stuff like that, I would like to believe, but it's not even that I want to believe in ghosts. I think I have enough experiences that are very weird to explain, but I think there's so much already that like I just generally can't explain, but I know there is an explanation. It's like, well, that was one of my things when I was much younger. It was like, well, you know, wind. I don't know where wind comes from.
God, baby.
You know, but I know that it's there and it causes this effect. So wind is real. So is it the same with ghosts? I have all these causes that I have seen, but I don't know.
Wind is kind of crazy to think about.
Wind is crazy.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. It was really something that racked my brain for the longest time.
God, I loved the kids in high school. And then I'm glad TikTok's around because then those kids had a platform to really share their talents with the people who would, like, hang out in, like, the corridors where, like, the wind would get caught and kind of, like, circle around in itself, you know? And, like, they would, like, pretend like they're, like, moving the wind around.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you'd call them autistic, but I love them.
And well, yeah. I don't know what more to say to that.
Ghosts.
I really don't. Ghosts.
Ghosts. What's some of your favorite ghost shows?
Oh, no, I was going to say my ghost animals, because you said about your deer.
Yes.
Obviously childhood dog, I feel like, would follow me around, I hope.
But okay. All right.
I would hope.
But
I'm
the
not
thing
gonna.
is, like a ghost like lingers. You wouldn't want Lily to be a ghost, would you? You would want her to be like resting peacefully, or like reincarnated.
And I don't know. Maybe my whole thing with ghosts of like how I want them to be is I don't want them to interact with me at all or my environment. I don't want that around me.
Sure.
But I like to think of, you know, same kind of thing within Lion King where it's like in the sky and I look over you. That kind of like presence. Almost like a godlike presence.
Sure.
I guess that's what I want. I want Lily to be resting peacefully in doggy heaven, because all dogs go to heaven.
All dogs go to heaven. Humans don't.
Nope.
Humans just die. It's just nothing.
Yep.
The dogs, there's an
They go to heaven. Cats, they go to purgatory.
That was really good.
Thank you. I just came up with that. That's really probably good. In something. I don't know. No, I'm sure that's been done before.
That's an Abby Bear original.
Yeah.
Do you know what Riley goes by on LinkedIn?
No.
Riley Jean Riley. Shout out Riley.
Riley!
I love that name.
Riley Jean Riley?
Riley Jean Riley.
That's great.
That's awesome.
But
that's a fucking sick name.
That's not their name, though. Right?
Kind of is. Because they go by... Their last name is Riley. They don't like their first name, so they went by their last name.
Okay. Yeah.
And so, like,
I like
trying to be...
Jean?
I think that's their middle name.
Oh,
or
is
their
it?
middle
Okay.
name's like Eugene or something like that.
Okay.
They have a funny middle name. I don't remember what it is.
Eugenia?
It's funny. No.
Eugenics?
Eugenics.
Man.
That's good. But yeah.
Shout out Riley.
Shout out Riley.
Hope you're doing good.
I hope you and Ari are doing well.
Hope you're doing fantastic.
We miss you guys so much.
We miss Peach.
We miss Peachy.
Do they have a bird now?
Do they?
I thought I saw one of them post about like a bird.
Jeez.
But I could be wrong.
Well, they live in Chicago. So
yeah, maybe there's just a bird outside.
They just left a window open.
Yeah. But and then the other animal I'd say is that I had this one fish that did not die. Oh my god. It was a goldfish. So I won it from a church event. Where you could do like a dunk tank with one of the pastors or something. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure that's how I won it. I don't know. Or maybe a ring toss. But regardless, our church used to be really fun and did some cool events, and then they became really boring. So maybe it was just fun because I was a kid.
You gotta be boring to praise God. If you're having fun, you're doing it wrong.
Well, haven't you seen, like, let's say that about white churches.
Dude, I went to a Methodist church, man. We were all about having fun. You know how many slip and slides I used during fucking Bible school?
We rode mini ponies around the parking lot.
As Baptists?
Yeah.
That's blasphemy.
That was so fun, but then they stopped doing that. They stopped doing that when I was in like first or second grade.
It should have been donkeys, and then they should have
with palm fronds.
Exactly, dude.
Yeah. But I won this goldfish. Me and Katie, we actually won quite a few. And we weren't really prepared to be... I mean, we were little kids, and we didn't know what we were supposed to do with fish. So, of course, we put them all in one big fish bowl. It wasn't that big. It was a fish bowl that we put, like, 14 fish in. And then we...
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Why did they give you 14 fish?
We got, like, 7 each.
Why are you giving a child 7 fish
Fuck if I know. It was really irresponsible. And then we were devastated the next morning when, like, 9 of them were dead.
Yeah.
Because of fucking course 9 of them were dead.
Yeah.
So we did like a mass burial of these fucking fish.
That's insane.
Yeah. So then we were down to our 5 favorites. Well, I had my one, it was just a big goldfish. It was just a classic yellow goldfish. That was my one. That I know that I named him something.
Yellow? I thought they were orange.
Well, orange.
Okay.
Like a yellowish orange. You look at it in certain lights, and parts of it are even almost white. But I had a goldfish. I know I named him something. I no longer remember his name because we just gave him the nickname Champ after getting so close to death a number of times. That was the type of fish that this fish was.
Dude, yeah, you found the fighter in that one.
Oh my god.
You guys hosted like a reality show for goldfish.
Yeah.
It's like 14 enter.
Only one will win.
Exactly.
But Katie, one of hers was another one that lasted a while, but it was still a goldfish. I think it lived like maybe a year or two, something like that. My goldfish.
That's impressive. The goldfish can live for a while though if you let them.
My goldfish lived for like 7 or 8 years.
Wow.
Something like that.
Wow. They can get big also if you like keep giving them bigger spaces to grow into.
Yeah, and we did get my fish a better tank at one point.
Also invasive species.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people let them go, and then just like they live pretty well in the wild.
But yeah, this fish, oh god, what were some of the ways that he nearly died? I remember like we'd like drive up to the UP sometimes for like Thanksgiving. There was one time it was like even cold, and I mean obviously with global warming it used to be colder. But we left him in the car at one point. I think
you just brought him with you?
Well, we didn't have anyone else, so it's like, hey, can you go and feed our fish? So it's like, well, let's bring him in a Tupperware container. And
that's kind of really cute. I kind of really like that as a story idea.
Yeah.
I should write that down.
Well, that's what I did an etching of this, because it was like so...
I don't know where my phone's at.
Crucial to my memory.
Okay, Google?
Ethan, like just
make a note.
Stop with the okay Google. You're gonna get people.
No, dude. Google, it works, man. Gemini.
Just type it in mine, and then I'll send that to you.
I'll remember. It's okay.
But so we brought him up to the UP, left him in the car. I think when we were stopping at a gas station or something. I knew you were gonna say that. He said, I love you. I love you too. So this, fish, though, he froze solid in the bowl. The water that he was in, like, frozen.
Talk about a fish sickle.
Yeah. I was devastated. I was like, oh my god, so we're doing all of this to make sure that we can actually look after him, and now he's just dead? My goldfish that has survived? And we were like, okay, well...
This is the movie.
We can't just flush this big chunk of ice down the toilet, so what we're gonna have to do is let him thaw out, and then see what happened, you know?
Oh, that'd be such a good shot. It's just a big chunk of ice in a toilet, and you're flushing it, and you're just fuck.
But I feel like, well, no, you could find fake fish to do that. It's like, don't do that to a real fish. Anyways, he thawed back out. He was totally fine. He lived on for another 2 years after that.
What a fucking champ!
That's right. Then
the movie's called Champ.
The tail end of his life. Tail. He's a fish.
Oh, that's a good one.
This was one of the last things that happened to him, but he still survived a while after this. We went to church, and he was in his fish tank, obviously, where you leave your fucking fish, because where's he gonna go? We came back, he wasn't in his fish tank. Holy shit, how'd we lose a fish?
Where'd he go?
He was behind the stove on the floor, like on the ground.
What?
And to
How'd you find him?
We were like, the process of elimination, what's immediately around.
Okay.
Just moved the stove out on the off chance that maybe he got tucked back there.
Yeah.
At some point, he must have flown out of his fucking tank and, like, fell behind the stove, pulled him out, put him back in the water. He was alive. I kid you not. And, like, this is not the classic child story of, like, oh yeah, like, my fish, maybe it seemed like he was dead, but then all of a sudden I looked and then there was a fish that looked exactly like him, and then the parents did a little switcheroo.
Right.
No, like, this was not that, because I was there the whole day and knew where mom and dad were, and I watched as they, like, picked him up, and it's like, oh, his gills are still kind of moving. I'm the one holding this fish. We put him back in his tank, and we, you know, like the little nets that you use to, like, scoop him out when you're cleaning the bowls. We put that on top of him to almost, like, weigh him down and keep him underwater. He started swimming around. He lived.
Like nothing happened.
Yep.
Just a
like he didn't try running away.
vacation.
Yep. I was so sad. I thought he had run away. My fish ran away from home.
What a crazy,
and
crazy guy.
Around that time, though, that was already, like, maybe he was trying to kill himself because he'd lived for so long. Because it was like maybe a month or two after that I think he just died. But he lived for a long time, and, like, that was really sad when he died.
See, I'm thinking this movie, it's a 2.5 hour movie about a goldfish.
I mean, I like it.
And it's brutal.
Yeah.
This movie is gonna make you sob your eyes out.
Hey, you would over a fish like Champ.
It's gonna win every Oscar. It's gonna win a Grammy.
They're gonna win a Tony.
And yeah, it's gonna be the first piece of media to get an EGOT.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna turn it into a musical.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're gonna do a TV show based off the musical. Oh shit, dude! Like, do you think that's what High School Musical's trying to do? But I guess they lost their opportunity.
Yeah.
Because it's the first ones.
Yep.
But whatever. I love the name High School Musical, the show. That's amazing.
It's awful.
It's not. It's so good. It's so good.
It's good in the way that it's bad. Like, I know what you're saying. Like, it's so much. It's a mouthful.
It's so absurd.
Yeah.
They're literally saying, like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Eat this regurgitated garbage because you like it.
Mm-hmm.
And my mouth's wide open, baby.
Ethan's eating that shit up.
I've never seen it.
Not so much.
I do love the High School Musical movies, though. They really left a ghost for Disney because they've been trying to fill that void since.
I feel like our whenever we do this, when we catch ourselves straying from the topic, we just like throw in our topic. So yeah, ghosts.
Ghosts. What's a good ghost movie from the Disney Channel? Or ghost episode from Disney shows? I'm really trying to think.
I like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody with the haunting of that one room. You remember that? And they did like a seance and Esteban was like possessed. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that.
Oh, that's like
if
anybody listens to this
mine's a steel trap.
They are gonna recognize what I'm talking about. This was an iconic episode. A seance on the Disney Channel? Are you shitting me?
Iconic episodes of Sweet Life and Zack and Cody go in order when they switch. When Zack and Cody become Cody and Zack.
Okay, yeah.
Number 2, when his mom becomes a redhead.
Or do you mean when Cody dyes his hair, honey missed auburn? Well, honey, you missed auburn by a long shot.
That's another good one.
Yeah.
That might be the same episode.
I don't know that the mom becomes a redhead. I don't know what
I
you're talking
remember
about.
that episode now. Because, it's like a spooky apartment, isn't it? Yes. Okay.
Well, it's a spooky hotel room because it takes place in a hotel.
Yeah, but you only hang out in the
and it's just that it's the lady that
essentially
voices, I think, Mrs. Potato Head. That's actually just living in that apartment. Like that's the ending of it.
Well,
if I remember right, we'll have to watch that episode again.
And then number 4, iconic Zack and Cody episodes. When they
go into the talent show.
That's another good one. When she
drag.
learns how to drive.
Oh, with a Prindle.
Yeah, Prindle.
Yep. Brenda Song has talked about that. Shout out Brenda Song.
Dude, I love her.
I love her also.
And Macaulay Culkin, what a good relationship.
Great couple. But she's talked about, like, people still come up to her and say, like, yeah, love Prindle. And she's like, yeah, makes sense.
It just stuck with the generation.
It really did.
Because it kind of makes sense for a show for children, and then you have an episode where someone's learning how to drive, and they're essentially a child's IQ of driving.
Yeah,
because
it's
she's
when
so
you have
privileged.
No experience with this,
right.
And you're just being presented with this is what you have to use to drive.
Right.
Here's what you're just looking at. Well, of course, yeah. If you see a bunch of letters, you're gonna try to read it. Prindle. Yep. You thinking of any other ghost episodes?
We watched it. The spooky show with the grandpa and the kids, Mabel.
Oh, Gravity Falls.
Is Gravity Falls Disney?
Yeah, I think so.
There's some ghosts in that, right?
Yeah, there is. In the gas station, remember the gas station? And Dipper has to do the little Lammy dance.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't like teenagers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure there's other ghosts and stuff, too.
There's probably a Wizard 101 episode about it, but I don't remember much about Wizard 101.
Wizard 101?
Yeah. Oh.
Wizards of Waverly Place or Zoe 101? I think you're combining those.
No, Wizards 101 is also a very popular video game.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, dude. Wizards 101's
I thought we were still talking Disney.
Nah, man. Wizards 101 was a free MMO children's game where you play as a wizard, and it's like a card. And it's combat's kind of a card-based combat. Do you remember Toontown?
I was not a Toontown kid.
Did you ever see commercials for Toontown?
No, because we didn't have Disney Channel.
Art style, but I always wanted to get into Toontown, but it wasn't free, so.
Oh, man.
I had to fight for a Webkins, man.
Yeah. I loved Webkins. That was like when I got an allowance, I would spend them on Webkins. You
got an allowance?
Yeah.
Dude, you know what I got?
Webkiss.
Love and affection.
Well.
Sorry, that didn't mean to seem like a dig, but it kind of sucks that it is a dig.
Yeah. But hey, I got a lot of Webkins. They've got to be in my parents' basement still. I got a lot of Webkins. I think at one point I had 25 of them.
What?
Yeah.
we've never talked about. You had 25 webkins.
I had a lot of webkins.
And were you like keeping up with all of them,
No.
or you just liked them as the physical thing?
I liked them as a physical thing, and then I'd interact with a good 5 of them regularly. Online.
Because the thing that I liked about webkins was the online aspect.
Oh, and I love the games. I still do because you can sign on without an actual pet and just do webkins.
I was on the other day. I was looking at the webkins subreddit. It's pretty active.
My first webkins I ever got was, I think, the Chihuahua. I got the Chihuahua. It was either the Chihuahua or the White Bunny.
I don't really remember.
And then I also had... I had so many. I'm not going to go down this list of all the webkins that I had. The cow, the pig, the brown dinosaur with pink spots, the parakeet, the fucking...
The parakeet, that would have been a cool one.
Ooh, I loved my parakeet. And then I also got, like, webkins clothing. I don't remember. I think, like, Chuck.
Dude, one really funny thing about the webkins subreddit is people, like, going back and looking at, like, how they named their childhood webkins.
Before they were illiterate. That was a big trend on TikTok where it's like, seeing what I named my webkins before I knew what names were.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have that many crazy names. It's like Sweet Pea, or like my, bunny that I got was Snowball, you know. It's like, okay, yeah, nothing like Beam Womb, you know. Trying to think of something weird and whimsical.
If it was me as a dyslexic 4-year-old.
Oh God, I would have loved to.
Trying to like spell, it would have been numbers.
There was.
And they would have been somehow backwards digitally.
Yeah. There was this book that Katie and I read. I want to say it was Augie Cooter.
That's a great name.
Augie Cooter, and what he would do in the talent show is would make shapes out of craft singles. He would bite them.
This is a real person?
This is a book.
Okay.
This is not a real thing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure in that...
I was gonna say, we need to turn this into a book.
Yeah. No, this kid, I'm pretty sure it was this book, or it was another book that was adjacent to that, like something we read around the time. He had like a pet cat that he named Cordyuiop, which is all
That's cool.
The top letters of the keyboard, Cordyuiop in order.
Nice.
And so sometimes, whenever I
should have known that
look at a keyboard and stuff, I just think Cordyuiop.
Yeah, dude.
Imagine naming a pet Cordyuiop.
Cordyuiop. Cordyuiop. I'm a killer cop. Cordyuiop.
Ghosts.
What are you gonna do as a ghost?
Well, I am not gonna be a ghost because ghosts aren't real.
Oh, do you really want to? What do you really believe?
I wasn't super getting into that. I don't know.
What do you think?
Well, I was just thinking, isn't it interesting that ghosts, whenever we think of ghosts, they're all like in Victorian era.
Interesting that
they're rattling chains.
Interesting that you're avoiding the question. Kind of makes me think that you are a ghost.
What?
Prove that you're not a ghost right now.
No, I'm so real. But you know what I mean? Like, they're all, like, historic, where it's like, people recently have died. Why are we not seeing people in, like, modern clothes? A ghost walking around with a cell phone.
That's a good point.
You know? So that's where it's like, I think a lot of it is shadows and shapes that people, it's like your subconscious mystifies to make into a ghost.
You're in, like, a club or something, and you see, like, someone, like a ghost of, like, someone, like, doing cocaine.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they're not there. Yeah. But also the Coke's gone. Who took my Coke?
Who took my Coke?
God. But that's, I don't know. I am kind of answering your question with that. Like, I don't know. I think that it's really like, you see a shadow out of the corner of your eye, or it's all about...
You hear something.
Yeah. And your first thing you're jumping to is, that sounds like it was a person walking by. So, must have been a person.
Right.
But also, like, hearing footsteps in, I hear footsteps in my grandparents' house. That's another thing that you just hear even when there's no one upstairs. But is that just the house shifting? Footsteps are a very specific sound, but maybe there's another cause for that. I don't know. I think ghosts are really just the power of suggestion, if I'm being honest. That's not a very interesting answer.
Yeah.
It's that that's part of why I was avoiding it. Like it's a boring answer.
Yeah, I almost kind of thought that's why I was a little speechless there, because I kind of thought you would, because that's kind of my answer also.
Yeah.
I don't know, but like it's nice to think that like our world's a little more mystical than it is.
Oh yeah, I'd like to believe that there's more. I mean, more in the world than we can even just see.
Yeah.
But there is, on a microscopic level
dude.
And all that kind of stuff.
I mean,
would you call a mitochondria a ghost because you can't see it?
You put the right things in your body and you'll see a mitochondria.
What?
Don't worry about it. I'm talking about you can like take hallucinogenics,
Oh, and you're just saying like you'll trip and see stuff that looks like a mitochondria?
Well, you'll see things. You'll see different things. You'll see things that,
Sure. I mean,
as Aldous Huxley would say, it's not like you're necessarily making up these things in your head, but you're experiencing more reality per se. It's like, if you think of the mind as like a mechanism that's taking in a bunch of sensory data and then filtering it down into something that you can perceive as reality, taking something like a hallucinogenic is just opening up one valve a little bit, so you're just experiencing a less concentrated reality.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
That is interesting.
He died when he was dying, he was injected with acid. So he died tripping.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. He wrote Brave New World. If you ever heard about that book.
What would you do as a ghost?
As a ghost, I think I would like to haunt a theater. I think that would be a very fun place to haunt.
Sure, yeah, people go to the theater to be entertained. Because you just want to be entertained.
Yeah, and I could also, if I'm able to, manipulate physical shit, I would, if shit's being, projected and it's, a movie I don't like, I'd put, my, hands up in it.
Oh, and do, shadow puppets? Flip it Who's off. Doing that?
Yeah, it's, a really shitty moment. I just flip it off.
That's good.
And they're like, who's doing that? And they don't see anything back there. And then they look back. And then, I'm right in front of them when they look back. And they're like, oh.
What do you think a good ghost name is? What are ghost names?
Edward P. Nightgood. Mr. Head. Pajama Man.
I don't know why.
Pajama Man. That's a pretty good one.
I don't know why when you said pajama, my first instinct of a last name was Newton.
Pajama Newton? Fuck. That fucks. That's fucking good.
Pajama
Write
Newton.
that down.
Yeah, Pajama Newton.
Pajama Newton. That's Rockin' Johnson's partner.
Yeah.
Pajama Newton? I was calling him, I don't remember what I was calling him. I think I was calling him Jimmy something. But his name's now Pajama Newton.
Yeah. You give me a first name, I'll give you a last name. Ghost names, go.
I'm giving you first name?
Yep.
Frederick.
Bonwoven.
Shit, that's awesome.
Keep going. Just keep going. We're tossing them out. These are ghost
Munster.
Names. House. That's just Monster House.
Monster.
But it smells a little bit like cheese in there.
Good Body.
Wishmeister.
Good Body Wishmeister. Interesting. Theodore.
Pinochle.
Reddit.
Bebob.
Reddit. The
Undertaker.
Shit. I think that's taken.
Yeah, I think so.
That's a ghost. We could talk about the Undertaker. That's a cool. How much do you know about professional wrestling?
Nothing.
I don't know too much about it, but the Undertaker. Fuck, dude. Professional wrestling is so goddamn interesting. because it's like the most macho grown men participating and loving and getting so into the most absurd storylines.
Yeah.
And like the Undertaker is a man who like came back to life, who just like choke slams people and is shirtless in a trench coat with the cowboy hat that just goes below his eyes, and he's like 6'10" or something.
Yeah, that's drag. That's
it
drag.
It is.
I
think I've said this before.
Yeah.
Like, it's straight man drag.
It is. It so is.
Ah, fuck. We should watch some WWE YouTube videos, because there's some great like narrative essay videos on it.
Oh, I remember that clip I sent you of the woman that put her hands in the one lady's butt.
Yeah, dude.
And then she was like doing like a power clench and like flipped her with her
ass
cheeks.
It's so cool.
It's stupid, but it's really entertaining. Yeah.
Shout out
The Undertaker.
What's the Peanut Butter Falcon?
Oh yeah, that's
about
a good movie.
Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
With his name is
let's say Dakota Johnson first. Let's say the woman first.
That's right, Dakota Johnson. And then fucking Transformer Boy.
Yeah, and do you know the name of the guy that has Down syndrome that's actually the lead?
I do not.
Yeah, I think he's the one that actually runs that. Let me look it up. You keep spitballing. Who do you think?
Oh, can I talk about...
It's Shia LaBeouf.
I don't know if I should say his name. I'm not gonna say his name, but like my new autistic friend at work.
Yeah, let's maybe not say his name.
He was really cool today.
Is it Zack? Oh, Zack got Sagan.
Zack got Sagan.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
He's
really good in that movie. I wonder if he's gonna act in anything else. If he does, I
should.
Oh, maybe I should look if he actually has.
My new friend, he came up to me at work today, because I was right outside the break room doing some shipping stuff. And he walks up and he says, "It's lunchtime."
That's so fun. Like, Ethan put his finger up also, like pointing up. Yeah.
And then I was like, "Oh, what do you have today?" And he said, "I have some chicken spaghetti and beans." I don't know if it was spaghetti. I don't remember what. It was chicken something.
And beans.
Yeah.
That sounds yummy.
Oh, that sounds yummy. And he said, "Who made it?" And he's like, "My mom made it." Like, a little disappointed. I said, "That was nice of her." He said, "Yeah." And then just walks into the break room.
Yeah. Well, he probably just wants to be independent.
Right. Well,
so that's kind of a claim of, I had to have someone else help me.
Yeah.
I get that's, frustrating. But.
Yeah, he's great. I think he's having a good time.
He's adjusting well and he's doing the damn thing.
He's doing the damn thing, man.
Shout out that guy.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say my aunt and my cousin's name earlier, but it just kind of slipped out. And I was just talking with you.
That's all right.
It's fine.
Yeah. And his department head, I was just talking to today, and his team is maybe going to be, not like entirely responsible, but like very heavily responsible for a truck that's going out for like $50,000 or something this week. So
we got to put your best team on it. Might as well be them.
The Aware team, man. Yep. They're great.
People actually do their jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
They fucking do their fucking jobs.
Right. I'm not saying that facetiously. They actually are doing shit. So.
Dude, I've always wondered, because that's an old-ass warehouse that we're in. Because, like, we don't own that warehouse, but we moved there in, I say we, this company's been around since the 80s, and, like, they had a bunch of warehouses around Grand Rapids. But this became the base of operations in, like, 2010 or 12 or something, and it's been built since, like, the 80s. Like, it's been around for a while, and it was, like, a pretty legit plant for something back in the day, and someone's died in there. Someone's definitely... I feel like statistically, someone's had to die in there.
Do you think there's a ghost in the building?
I hope. That's how I'm trying to connect to. That'd be interesting. If there's...
it's even like, houses, how it's like you get an old ass...
inventory problem.
Exactly. Oh my god, it's the ghost. Well, I mean, even when I used to work at that grocery store, I would say it's the grocery store of redacted grocery store. Wait, no, the ghost of redacted grocery store. Yeah. Because, just weird things happen. But I think it's... I mean, that you can't prove it. I think it's just the power of suggestion.
Yeah.
You know? You want to think that there's a cause for something, and even if it's not a real person, just saying, oh yeah, there's a ghost person, and they're doing it, versus something weird. I don't know. Ghosts.
It's fun to think the world's more mystical than it is.
And isn't it interesting that to be a ghost, like when you dress up, you just put a sheet over you and cut out eye holes? What's that about? Why is that more ghosty?
I wish I knew the historical context of that, but I really don't. Because it also feels oddly KKK-ish.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if it expands
maybe just because it's a white sheet.
States.
You think it would be like a black sheet because it's more shadowy.
Well, I mean, the original KKK outfits were essentially just a white sheet with holes cut out of them. Because they wanted to hide their identity.
Seen the Tesla logo flipped upside down? How it looks like a KKK guy?
I have not seen that.
Yep.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and it's fucking awful.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Very weird.
Elon Musk did that on purpose. He's a white
did.
supremacist. Oh, shit, dude. We're not going to be able to make money off this episode now. Fuck.
What, because we said something bad about Elon Musk?
No. We're not even eligible to make money. We need to have, like...
I was going to say, we can say whatever. Even if we were to make money and we would choose between saying something shit about Elon Musk, I'm absolutely going to say awful things about him. Then make a penny.
Yeah, dude. I don't give a fuck.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck. I'm on.
Fuck that guy. And Donald Trump.
Dude, the stock market. Have you seen the stock market? Talk about a ghost. Fucking a lot of old men are seeing ghosts. It's been kind of interesting, the amount of old men I've been getting in recently who need help with their computer to get onto the stock market.
Interesting.
Because that old man who really needed help yesterday, that really took
91-year-old man.
Came back in today.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, I had Travis deal with him.
Yeah.
I told him, fucking let him return the computer if he can't handle it.
Yeah, seriously. And that is not ageist, but it's when someone, so specifically with this guy, someone who is so entitled of someone else's time and expects more than what is... So he was expecting more out of Ethan than even his job description was, like, above and beyond, and, like, going to his house and installing Wi-Fi and shit. Like,
maybe shouldn't have said Travis's name. Whoops.
Well,
whatever.
But it's just a first name, and we're not saying any specifics.
No, and Travis is fucking great. He really helped.
Shout out.
He really, really helped this guy. Travis.
Shout out Travis.
Old people fucking love him. He's such a just... I don't know. He's such
everything you've said about him. It sounds like
sweet, caring guy.
Mm-hmm.
But so Travis got to see this guy's like how much this, because like Travis essentially like logged in. This guy logged into his like stock.
Is this guy rich?
Yeah, had $100,000, like over $100,000, just like in stocks and stuff, and like the stock market's fucking tanking right now.
Yeah.
And this dude lost like $20K overnight, essentially. And then another guy came in today, and Travis said that he didn't tell me how much, but he said he had even more than this guy did in stocks. Shit. And his looked even worse. So, there's some bad shit going on right now. It's a ghost in the White House, and he looks like a orange sack of shit.
Yeah. With weird fucking hands. You seen his hands?
I know he has tiny hands. I guess I haven't seen
no,
recently.
like I don't know if they're putting foundation on his hands to cover like liver spots or what. Like he just like they look weird colors.
Interesting.
Like he looks dead.
Yeah, I feel like he's on a cocktail for sure, and I'd love to know what it was.
He's got that dementia stand. He's had that since the tail end of his last presidency.
Oh, yeah. I'm surprised Biden's still kicking. I thought for sure as soon as they took him off the campaign trail, he was gonna fucking die.
Dude, I think he is like just been waiting for some time off. So now he's just gonna like have, it's like his what do they call it? The rainbow years? What the fuck is it? Like when it's like
when you're
the twilight years.
Twilight years.
Yeah, where he's like winding down, rainbow years, but just winding down. So he's gonna have his little vacation. He's gonna have a year, and then next year he's probably gonna kick the curb.
Don't you just hate it?
I wish that I just had a president that I was excited about.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even excited about, but just someone who, like, was a decent person that advocated for rights
right.
of...
I would say, speaking of ghosts, my faith in our democracy.
Yeah. Damn. Didn't know we'd take this turn, but yeah. But that's a lot of people's perspective.
I really got pee, so do you want to vent for a second, or should we call it there at an hour and 29 minutes? Wow.
I was going to say, I think we've been going for a while.
Yeah, talk about us. So, well, maybe we'll have a short one, and then we just drink a little bit, and it's an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, well,
right.
I think you kind of helped carry me on this one.
Well, I think you got a lot of ghost stories.
I do have a lot of ghost stories. Thanks for listening to the ghost stories, and
for listening, guys.
Hanging out with us, and just kind of having a weird one this week, but
I like this one.
Yeah, and I know I keep teasing it. Just, can one person, please, just someone say, please do the poop pod. If one person actually wants it, we'll do it. And we're going to do some poop research, some poop stories.
Yeah, dude, I'll look into the origins of poop.
Or maybe we'll talk about shoes next week. Who's to say?
Who knows?
To say?
Because you know what?
We talked about
we talked about that.
We lost our rhythm.
Whatever.
That's fine.
Bye.
Bye. So loud, sorry.